In this video, I'm going to discuss the best two-room flexi in the February 2026 BTO launch. So let's start with the overview first. There will be 6 locations being offered in this February, and 5 out of 6 projects will actually have two-room flexi, so that's good. So out of the list that you see, Tampines Avenue would not have any two-room flexi at all, but at least the rest would have two-room flexi. Now, there are 2 locations that is located near an MRT station, which is the location at Bukit Merah, and then the other location is the one near Tampines Central. And then in terms of the on-site facilities, looking at the list, it seems like the spot that would have quite a good on-site facilities would be the one at Sembawang Admiralty Lane and also the one at Toa Payoh, because both of them would have an eating house, a mini mart, and several shops instead of the standard preschool only. Another thing that we probably should consider as well would be the classification. So I'm guessing that Bukit Merah will be classified as prime, and then both of the Sembawang locations I think would be standard. Tampines Central, I think it will be a plus because it's a mature town, even though it's far away from the CBD area, and it will also be having quite a lot of amenities and within walking distance to MRT station. And then for Toa Payoh, even though the location is very far from any MRT station, but then some people say that they don't mind taking bus, and then it's a mature town, so most probably Toa Payoh would be a plus as well. As you know, plus and prime comes with stricter restrictions. So for example, the 10-year MOP, income ceiling for future buyers, etc. So just a watch out on that. Now let's talk about the flat allocation itself for two-room flexi. So here I'm listing all of the two-room flexi in every location. So HDB has this interesting rule whereby they will allocate 40% of the two-room flexi for seniors. And if the allocation is less than 100 units, at least 100 units will be allocated for seniors. So for example, let's take Bukit Merah. So Bukit Merah would have 360 two-room flexi. So 40% of it is 144. So senior will just get allocated all of those 144. But on the other hand, let's take Sembawang Admiralty Lane as an example. So 180 times 40% is 72. But then 72 is less than 100. So the senior would get 100 two-room flexi allocated to them. And then after that, the balance two-room flexi will be allocated for first-timer singles, first-timer families, and second-timer families. So for first-timer singles, basically the allocation would be 65% times the balance allocation of two-room flexi. So I know it sounds a little bit complicated. So I have summarized the numbers here for you. So basically for Bukit Merah, the two-room flexi allocation for singles would be 140, Sembawang Drive is 113, etc. So for example, Tampines Central only have 13 units of two-room flexi allocated for first-timer singles. Now, this would mean that if you are interested at Tampines, now is probably not a good time to apply for the February BTO because your chances would be significantly smaller versus, for example, if you apply for Bukit Merah. Now, Sembawang is a unique case because, as you know, with the current ruling, you don't apply per project, but instead you would need to apply per town. So, Sembawang Drive and Sembawang Admiralty Lane are located within the same town. So, if you apply for Sembawang and then you get a queue number, then you can pick either project depending on what's available when you being called to pick a unit. So it seems that probability-wise, the highest two-room flexi supply for singles would be mostly available in Sembawang because in total there will be like 165 units combined, and then the runner-up would be Bukit Merah, and then the second runner-up would be Toa Payoh. But again, just purely from allocation standpoint, I would not recommend first-timer singles to apply to Tampines simply because the allocation is very minimal. I don't think you'll stand a chance there. Now let's talk about the estimated price for these two-room flexi. So as you know, there are actually 2 types of two-room flexi type 1 and two-room flexi type 2. Basically, the type 2 is slightly bigger, but for simplicity, this estimated BTO price, I just keep it similar lah. But of course, Type 2 would be slightly more expensive. So for Bukit Merah, I'm guessing the pricing would not be that much difference versus Red Hill Peaks, because Red Hill Peaks was just launched back in October 2025, right? And this one is for February 2026. So I think the price would be more or less the same, probably slightly higher. So I would guess that the price would start at about $183,000. And because at Bukit Merah, the site goes up to like level 49, if I'm not mistaken, but the towers are very high. So then I'm guessing the upper price would be $350 something thousand. And then for Sembawang, so both Sembawang location is actually quite near to each other. They will be only separated by a park or something. Hence, I'm guessing the pricing would be similar for both sites. I'm guessing that it will be the more affordable option in February 2026. So I'm guessing the pricing will start at about $154,000 something. So that would be my guess. And because Sembawang, the tower is not so high, then the upper price I think would be around $226,000. And then next we have Tampines Central. So Tampines Central is interesting because it's very far from the CBD area. But having said that, if you look at the resale transaction data, the town is very much high in demand, which means that the comparables are very high. And then you have a very limited option in this February 2026 BTO, because there will be an SBF launch at the same time. So I'm guessing Tampines Central, I think the price would be above $180,000, or maybe more accurate would be above $190,000. That would be my guess. And then for Toa Payoh, so Toa Payoh is also interesting because the land plot is very far from any MRT station, which is about 1.6 kilometers. But having said that, Toa Payoh is a mature town. It has a lot of high resale transaction nearby the area. Historically, it is very much in demand. And if indeed Toa Payoh is being classified as a plus, meaning the subsidy would not be as much if it's a prime. So I'm guessing that the estimated BTO price for two-room Flexi in Toa Payoh would be around $200,000. It could be more or less, but I think roughly it would be around that price. Now, there are a lot of information that we don't know so far because HDB only released location information only, right? So for example, right now, we don't know which project would have rental units, and then which project would have like mixed stack, where let's say the bottom portion would be two-room Flexi but rental units, and then the upper part would be two-room Flexi but BTO, because typically that would also impact the application rate later on. So at the moment, we don't have that information. But I think all in all, if you ask me, if we consider all factors, I would say that Bukit Merah to me sounds like a good deal. Why? Because it's near MRT station, the price is reasonable for the location, and then it has quite a lot of allocation, both for first-timer singles as well as for seniors. So I think out of all of these lineup, I would say Bukit Merah is the one that I would have applied if I am on the market for two-room Flexi BTO. Now, you might ask whether it's better for singles to apply for BTO or SBF. Especially in February 2026 launch, HDB will offer both BTO and also SBF, right? Now, to know the answer, I think you need to stay tuned because I will discuss that in a separate video. Let me know in the comment section down below if you have any other question related to two-room Flexi for February 2026. To support my work, you can give a one-time tip by pressing the thanks button, pick the amount that you want, and click buy and send. Or you can also press the join button for exclusive contents and monthly membership. Your support means a lot to keep us independent. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!